you ready to master the waves of medical device product development? Well, wax up your surfboard because you are listening to Inspired by Imua. And here is your medical device product development expert, that Hawaiian-hearted hostess who will help you hang 10, Meghan Alonso.
And aloha! You're listening to Inspired by Imua, where we help you master the waves of medical product development. Each week, we interview guests that educate, guide, and inspire to give you and your product the skills you need to hang 10. If this is your first time listening, Imua is spelled I-M-U-A. It's a Hawaiian word meaning to advance forward with passion despite rough waves. There are plenty of those in medical product development, but keep listening because we've got you covered. So this past week, I took a trip down to Virginia Beach and attended the Thrive conference, which is hosted by an organization called Virginia Bio. And I collected all different audio samples for you so we can just have a 360 view of what the ecosystem, what the climate, what is happening in the state of Virginia around biotech and medtech. But first, I wanted to let you know of an opportunity. If you are interested in networking with other medtech and biotech startups and you're in Minneapolis, I would love for you to come out and see me this Thursday, April 13th. So I'm having a meetup event at the Day Block Brewery. So you can find out some more details at imua-services.com/events. And speaking of networking, I am on a mission to create community online and in person. And I have a unique opportunity for you called the Boardroom. So not only is it about executive boardrooms, but surfboards as well. And this combines that community with expert coaching and guidance from myself and other experts in my network. So I'd love for you to be a part of it. You also interact with other entrepreneurs and startups going through the same tough stuff you are, and they're there to help. So check it out. It's imua-services.com/boardroom. All right, so back to the Thrive conference. I wanted to give you a 360 view of what's going on from lots of different angles. And we're first going to hear from a startup company, and then we'll hear from one of the service providers. So I want you to sit back and relax and listen to this, and then we'll get into funding and where the state of Virginia is heading, specifically Virginia Beach and the big ecosystem incubator they're working on. All right, so enjoy, and I'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Crystal Eisenhower. I'm the CEO for Aperiomics. I'm also the chairman for Virginia Bio.
So where is Aperiomics based out of?
We are in Northern Virginia, in Ashburn, Virginia.
Okay, close by. I just moved to Ruston.
Oh, great. Yes, just a few minutes down the road.
So you're a startup company here in Virginia, and tell us a little bit about the climate and the funding landscape for you.
Within the state of Virginia, it's a very difficult landscape. Virginia hasn't traditionally been known for funding of its biotechnology companies. We're getting to the point where we're reaching critical mass, but we're not quite there yet. So we often have to look outside the state of Virginia. Fortunately, I was able to secure my lead investors through Washington, D.C. area. But within the state of Virginia, it's still very challenging. So it's one of the speakers earlier said, persistence. It takes a lot of persistence because it's a very difficult thing to find the right investors at the right time, both from the investor standpoint, but the company standpoint as well.
So tell us a little bit about your technology.
My company does testing for infections. So we've developed a technology that's able to identify all known infections from any sample in a single test. So we can identify the presence of every bacteria, every virus, every parasite, and every fungus from any type of a sample, blood, tissue, urine, in just one test.
So is this a CLIA test?
We operate in a CLIA certified laboratory. Because this is a cutting edge technology, it's difficult to get certifications and those regulatory pieces in place. We are labeled as a research use only indication, but we have 30 clients that are using our services, most of which are healthcare providers that need this type of a service to provide adequate care for their patients.
Okay, great. And earlier today, kind of the theme of the conference is advancing Virginia's bioscience forward. In your opinion, through your eyes as a startup, what can help that?
I think it's building the ecosystem that's here. So having more awareness of all of the biotech companies that are in the state, but also understanding the resources we can pull from the university system, understanding the financial sources that are here, understanding the programs that the state of Virginia puts forward to help support the system, just connecting all those dots together and getting more people engaged and more people involved to build that critical mass so we can really grow the industry.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm Caitlin Skaggs with Polymer Solutions Incorporated.
And you guys are headquartered out of Christiansburg, Virginia, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so tell us what you see happening in the Virginia biotech community over the past few years and kind of where it's headed in the future.
Over the past few years, I've seen a definite push towards increased collaboration between industry and academia, and realizing that for us to be mutually successful in the Commonwealth, we need to come together more to work to get the amazing discoveries happening in a research environment translated to an industry and patient use environment.
And so as a service provider with Polymer Solutions, how are you guys doing that from the industry perspective yourselves?
One way we're doing that is making sure we show up at the important events where these conversations are happening, like this Virginia Bioscience Thrive event. We make sure we come and that we're part of the conversation, that we're sharing our perspective and also sharing the ways that we support the bioscience industry as a lab that does chemical analysis and physical testing in support of devices and pharmaceutical products. We have a key role, but we need to make sure people understand that role, and especially doing it in a regulated environment, there's a huge quality component that is often lacking from the academic side that we're able to provide on the industry side of things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great, because you know what the industry needs, and I've seen that in academia where a lot of it's pretty lofty and, it may not be feasible too.
Yes, exactly. And so for medicine and other discoveries to be able to be translated from the academic environment, there has to be this quality assurance oversight, or by the time it hits the FDA, it's going to be a setback rather than a quickly moving process. So we strive to help with that. All of our testing is within a regulated environment, and therefore it helps with the submission process.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope that was pretty good insight, whether you're here in Virginia or nationwide, to just see what's happening in our state. And next, we'll get into funding, which is always a huge challenge for startups. And I'm going to talk about traditional angel investing, but also government grants and just how to get that money.
Monique Adams, Executive Director, 757 Angels.
Okay, so we just heard a great panel, which you were a part of. And I was really interested in when you are looking at applications for entrepreneurs and startups to be funded by 757 Angels, what are some of the red flags that you see right off the bat? And how do you reach back out to them? Or what type of report do you give them? Or maybe it's just a few words on guidance along with the no?
Great question. So I think we have a pre-screening where we actually meet with companies so they have the opportunity to talk me through some of those red flags. So I don't produce any document with no's until I have the opportunity to talk about it with people. So, one red flag that really jumps out that was discussed by many of the panelists is a management team. So we know that all companies usually start with one person with a great idea, and we're very supportive of that. But 757 Angels typically enters when there's a well-established management team. So if a single founder approaches me, that is a red flag. Another red flag, again, is the valuation. So if you have a valuation that's very high, typically we feel like you haven't done your homework, you don't understand venture math, and you haven't really walked through the process in terms of the financial track that your company could take. Third, another red flag would be if a company says that they're talking to a big venture capital player and they're also talking to me at the seed stage. You're not. So having a full understanding of the capital stack and the capital continuum and where capital providers enter and exit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Liz Powell with G2G Consulting, which stands for Government to Growth.
Okay. So Liz, not only do you work with startups in Virginia, but you work with them nationwide. And we were having a conversation earlier with some of the changes in administration and the funding available. So give us an update, I guess, Q2 update.
Great. So within the Department of Defense, we're actually seeing big increases with the change in the administration and control of Congress. Big support for defense increases, which includes medical innovation, medical R&D funding. So in the current FY17 bill, there's a $60 million increase for medical R&D alone. In one account, there's other increases for supplies, medical supplies. So I actually see a lot of opportunity for medical bioscience companies with this administration.
And then those funding resources, in particular, which ones are part of that increase?
They actually don't specify which medical technologies that are identified for that funding. They leave that to the Department of Defense. So within Department of Defense, you've got combat casualty care, you've got rehabilitative care, you've got health IT. There's these different sectors that they each have a program director who determines how they want to spend that money to meet gaps that they're facing for the warfighter.
Okay, so for the early stage entrepreneur and startup, past idea validation, they've got a fundable company. What are some pointers that you can give as far as navigating government funding?
Absolutely. I think number one is figure out what you need funding for and how much. Number two, you need to get a cogent message down that I like to summarize in terms of problem, solution, results. So what's the problem that you're trying to address, and make it specific to your target. So if you're talking to the military, make it relate to the warfighter, right? If it's to pediatrics, make it relate to pediatrician. So you really have to target it. And then problem, solution, results. What results can you provide if you're given $1 million for the government, for instance? You want to put that into a one-page document, and you use that to start the conversation with these program managers. And you need to research and find out the right program managers to talk to and develop these relationships, show your capabilities, listen to what their needs are, what their gaps are. And only then, after you've developed that relationship, have that intel, then should you be making submissions for funding.
Mm-hmm. And you help people do just that. So when they get in touch with you, what does that process look like as far as starting to work with you and identifying the right types of funding opportunities that they can go after?
Number one is hearing their story. When the company was started or spun out of an institution, the work they're doing now, where they want to take it in the next 5 years, what their funding needs are, their challenges. Once I fully understand their situation, then I can create what's called a strategic roadmap that lays out all the targets we can pursue for them, what we expect to get out of each one, the scope of work involved. And it's usually just a few pages. It's not a lengthy document, but it's enough to guide us so that we're very methodical in our approach for going after funding. Once we have that teed up, then we do the white paper I mentioned with problem, solution, results spelled out. And then we set up introductions. We go in and meet with these key targets. And also there's funding opportunities that you learn about in these meetings that are not posted on the internet. So you cannot just rely on the internet to find an opportunity to apply blind. You want to apply after you know for sure you've got a very good chance because you've narrowed your focus to what the program manager wants to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it sounds like you have a great resource for people, and it's such a gift to be able to help them navigate that because it is intimidating, especially if you're not near the DC area.
Yes, absolutely. But I think what's key is that you want to do your homework before you even start these conversations. You want to be well prepared when you go in, and you need to be able to listen and respond because sometimes they're giving you great intel in that meeting you didn't even expect to get. So it's really important that you do all that first before making any submission.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and lastly, I have a few special guests that will talk about where the state of Virginia is headed. Just so you know, Virginia is branding itself as the state for biosciences. Usually we think of Texas has a big cancer initiative. California has a big brain initiative. There's different states that are branded for different reasons, and you just think of that. And Virginia wants to be the Biosciences State. So we'll listen to see what's going on with that. And then we specifically get into the host city of this conference, Virginia Beach, and what Virginia Beach is up to promote biosciences. And there's also a innovation pitch competition. And there's a lot of good things going on. I just moved here from California where, let's face it, California, you are not very business friendly, but Virginia has a lot of incentives. If you're a startup company, you're looking for commercial space, you're looking for grants, there's a ton of great incentives for you to move here and have your company headquartered here. So there's free space, there's grants that you have access to. It's a lot of good stuff. So you're going to hear about some of that, and sit back and relax, and I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay, I'm Michael Freelander. I'm the Vice President for Health Sciences and Technology at Virginia Tech. I'm also the Executive Director of what's called the Virginia Tech Carilion Research Institute in Roanoke, Virginia, which is a public-private partnership between Virginia Tech and the Carilion Health System. And I'm also the Senior Dean for Research at the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine.
That's quite an impressive resume right there. So you guys are working on amazing things in the Virginia biotech community. So give our audience an overview of what you talked about on stage, which is the partnerships.
Right. So we're not only developing within our own community in Roanoke at our academic medical center innovative new technologies and applications in the health science space in a few key areas: the neurosciences, cardiovascular health, cancer, infectious disease. But we're also working statewide within the Commonwealth to build on complementary strengths across institutions, both universities and health systems, for collaborative work. So, for example, today I spoke primarily about the brain research initiatives, or neuroscience. So we have at our institution in Roanoke, Virginia Tech Carilion, assembled teams of really world-leading brain researchers. So one of the things we've been involved with in Roanoke is developing really innovative technologies for brain research in human diseases. So, for example, we have a group led by a guy named Reed Montague that's invented a technology to link functional brain scanning worldwide. So MRIs are linked in a network for real-time interactive brain imaging, and that lets you see the social interactions that go on between one human brain and another, which is a proxy for early signs of neuropsychiatric disease. Using that, their group has developed, for example, the first really quantitative test for autism done in 4 minutes with a child and a scanner. They've developed new ways to diagnose neuropsychiatric disorders like borderline personality disorder, which is otherwise devastating, using this technology. So that's one example of the types of technologies. We're also collaborating across institutions. So, for example, at Virginia Tech, we have what's called a glial biology research center, and they have a similar center at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. So our investigators are collaborating on brain tumors, primary and secondary cancers of the brain. And by the way, that's a phenomenally important part of the health system, even though primary brain tumors account for a relatively small number of cases and deaths, although they're devastating. Secondary metastatic brain disease is becoming a bigger health problem in the United States. The reason is people are surviving so much longer from their other cancers with effective treatments: melanoma, lung cancer, breast cancer. Many of those move or metastasize into the brain. And we know very little in the medical and scientific communities about how these metastatic brain disorders interact when they get in the brain. So we've developed at Virginia Tech a network with veterinary medicine as well, because also companion animals like dogs are surviving other types of cancers, but they're moving into the brains. So we develop a network of people working in human health, animal health, that are attacking these secondary as well as primary brain cancers, for example. And the other side of this coin that's really exciting is child development, brain development in kids, developmental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, things that relate to a whole brain injuries in children, which, by the way, are the number one disabler and the number one killer of children in the United States, traumatic brain injury. So we have an incredible confluence in the state of expertise in engineering, mechanics, brain imaging, materials, etc., and child health-focused health systems throughout the state. We're bringing those together in a collaborative way to address, with novel technologies, ways to prevent and treat injuries to the brain in kids and developmental disabilities, including cognitive disabilities related to things like autism spectrum disorder.
That's a lot of exciting stuff happening. And earlier today, someone mentioned that Virginia wants to move forward with branding as the Biosciences State. So how can we get there from where we are today?
Yeah, well, I think we need to focus, firstly. And so there was a discussion earlier about California becoming known as a stem cell state, and they invested $3 billion. The state of Texas did something similar in cancer, also a $3 billion bond investment, although they've had some challenges in Texas. But the discussion that we've been having in the biosciences, do we want to be that broad or focus? And one area that's been suggested is Virginia as the brain state and the focus in this great area of neuroscience. One of the really exciting things about neuroscience, it's not just about diseases, although many brain disorders come into play that affect the large population in the United States. It also is about understanding the brain to enhance performance in normal conditions, brain-machine interfaces. It brings in the whole sector of the Googles of the world and the Facebooks of the world and engineering into the brain sciences. Although health is a major part of it, it's not the only part of it. So we think the idea of branding Virginia as not only a bioscience, but having at least a focus in the brain area as the brain state is a great way to enable us moving forward. We need to have investment, we need to have collaboration across state institutions, and we need to have the leadership at the level of state government to embrace and identify that area or another as it may be, and to make investments that catalyze cooperation and collaboration. Finally, we need private partners and investment, the kind of things we've discussed at the meeting today about angels and venture capital, as well as industry partners. And what we're trying to do is create a network of resources that are so attractive to industry partners. If you're interested in brain research of any type, you have to go to Virginia because we brought the resources together.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll do a follow-on episode maybe in another year and see how it's going.
All right, that'd be fun. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Steve Harrison with the City of Virginia Beach Department of Economic Development.
So, Steve, I hear that Virginia Beach is really pushing forward on an initiative to bring biomedical sciences to this area. So why was that decision made? Why biomedical sciences?
So Mayor Sessoms, the mayor of Virginia Beach, in 2014 really kind of called the bioscientists of the area to arms to really create this initiative using a task force that he developed of university leaders, biomedical companies and presidents, and various institutional leaders and organizations from around Virginia Beach all the way up to Charlottesville, because we have the largest concentration of college students in Virginia in this area. We also have a lot of amazing biomedical companies like LifeNet Health, which is the largest organ and tissue procurement organization in the United States. They're headquartered here and have a regenerative medicine institute here in our biocorridor. Operation Smile, which is the global not-for-profit that does cleft lip palate surgeries, is also headquartered in our corridor. Sanyal Biotechnology, which focuses on fatty liver disease and NASH, is headquartered there. And so really we wanted to take these assets and promote them in a way as to recruit additional companies and provide opportunities for the university students who are graduating with STEM degrees to stay here in Virginia Beach. And so we've built a biomedical park, or we're sort of in the process of building this park, where it will be 155 acres in the heart of our corridor, and it will house up to 1 million square feet of Class A office, wet lab, medical manufacturing, light industrial space, and it gives these entrepreneurs and existing companies room to grow and room to expand their footprint in Virginia.
Mm-hmm. So since this area is very, very heavy in the defense space, I know that a lot of the measures you're taking is to overall feed your community and have the biomedical sciences complement the needs of the military and veterans here. So expand upon that a little for me.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Virginia Beach and the Hampton Roads metro area are really sort of the unofficial home of the U.S. military. The largest naval base in the world is here. The East Coast Master Jet Base, Naval Air Station Oceana, is here. So there's about 90,000 active duty military personnel in the region and over 200,000 veterans in Hampton Roads. So our strength in the defense industry is almost unparalleled, but also our commitment to our veterans has to be in tandem unparalleled. We're working with the state actually to build a new veterans care center that will be right in our bio corridor and allow doctors and researchers to hopefully focus on veteran-related illnesses and veteran-related healthcare innovations. We're also working with the Center for Advancing Innovation to spin out about 20 research opportunities and inventions from NIH and NASA Langley into what we're calling the Virginia Beach Bio Innovation Challenge. And all of those inventions will focus on veteran healthcare and veteran-related illnesses. So we're talking about, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, as well as things like diabetes, heart disease, all sorts of things. It really is it covers the gamut. And what we're trying to do is take the expertise we have in the defense realm and not divert it, but expand it to include the biosciences.
So with that innovation challenge, is that open for enrollment starting now?
It is. Yeah, absolutely. So if you visit innovatevabeach.com, you can find out more about the challenge. So Rosemarie Truman, who's the CEO of the Center for Advancing Innovation, is currently working with us on finalizing sort of the application process. But what we really want is for people from all facets of this industry, whether you're a scientist, you're a business person, you're a veteran looking to get involved in this type of industry, we're hopeful that people will come together, apply for this initiative, and they'll be mentored for about an 18-month period by big pharma executives, by major industry leaders, by university presidents and researchers from here and afar. And so, the opportunity is opening up right now, and we would certainly love for anybody to apply. And it's at innovatevabeach.com.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosemarie Truman. I'm the founder and CEO of the Center for Advancing Innovation.
So you guys have quite the exciting things happening there. So tell us a little bit about that.
So our mission is to identify breakthrough inventions and maximize their commercial potential. So we work with about 170,000 inventions. We identify the highest, most commercially viable ones, and then we basically launch companies around them. So we're working on 2 initiatives at present. One is called the Freedom from Cancer Startup Challenge. That's going to be launching 100 companies in cancer by 2018. Probably about the middle of 2018. And then we're also launching an initiative for Virginia Beach to launch companies that are focused on veteran-related illnesses. So we're launching 20 companies will be planted in Virginia Beach. And then we're working on some other stuff too, but these are 2 underway.
So this conference, we've talked about just building Virginia as the biosciences state. What do you feel like needs to happen for that, or is it already happening?
I think it's already happening. And what's really cool about what's happening, what I'm seeing, is that the parties across the state are galvanizing the resources within the state. And it's happening at rapid pace. It's really amazing to see the entrepreneurial mindset of the state. I haven't seen anything like it.
What are some tips that you have for someone wanting to join these challenges?
Build a great team. It's the number one challenge for the challenge is getting a great team. So we accept probably about 25% of the people who apply. And the reason is because we want teams that look like good startups coming in. So that means you need to have legal advice. You need to have industry perspective. You need to know how to raise dilutive and non-dilutive funding. You need to have the correct medical and scientific background, et cetera. So the average team size for those that come in is about 10 people because you need a small village to really be able to think it through the commercialization of the invention.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So that kind of wraps up this episode, and I hope you enjoyed these highlights from the Thrive conference hosted by Virginia Bio. If you want more information, you can reach out to me. My email is Alonso, it's ALONSO at Imua-Services.com. And I'm just going to throw that out there again. If you are in Minneapolis this week, then come see me. Come hang out at the Dayblock Brewery on Thursday. Details at Imua-Services.com/events. And if you're not in Minneapolis, or even if you are, I'd love to see you in the boardroom as well. So check that out. That's our online community plus coaching plus private consulting through myself and some of my network of experts in the industry for you. That's Imua-Services.com/boardroom. And until the next episode, Imua.
mahalo for joining us. If you're new to riding the waves of medical device product development, or if you've been in development for a while already, Inspired by Imua is here to surf with you. Want to be a master of the waves? Text HANG10, that's HANGTEN, to 44222. We'll send you the most common wipeouts companies make in product development so you can avoid them and reach master wave status. Again, that's HANG10 to 44222. We publish a new episode every Tuesday, so catch us at inspiredbyimua.com. Imua!